This episode is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. Manscaped just hooked me up with a bunch of stuff. The Perfect Package 4.0. It's a trimmer. It's waterproof. You get 90 minutes once you put it on the charger. Turn it on. Plus, you get free boxer, free bag, and you get the t-shirt that I got on right now. Plus, you get the liquids, keep you fresh to death. All you gotta do is go to manscaped.com, use the promo code Can't Wait 20. You get 20% off, plus free shipping, plus 2 free gifts at manscaped.com. Plus, you get a newspaper. We save balls. So all you gotta do to get 20% off is go to manscaped.com, plus free shipping, plus 2 free gifts, and use the promo code Can't Wait 20. Back at you with another episode coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com. Offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on amazon.com. So my special guest today is a success coach, wife, mentor, online entrepreneur. She's also co-founder of Inspired Action Industries. She's been transforming lives through her Life Masters certification program. My special guest today is Paje Ray. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sharp Game. Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited to just have this meaningful conversation with you and offer some value to your audience.
Yeah, thanks for taking time to do this. So where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from Canada. Right now I'm traveling. I'm here in Lipa, Philippines. So I'm actually born here, but I migrated back way. And then recently just felt called to actually move back here. I've always wanted to escape the winter in Canada. I don't know if you've been in Canada,
Yeah.
but I've lived in East Coast, West Coast, the middle part of Canada, everything in between, and winter is winter. It's still cold. So
Yeah.
it's always been my dream to just, move to somewhere warm. And I've thought about many different countries. But ultimately, me and my husband, we decided, well, why not go back home? So that's why last year, actually, just before the year ended, 2021, we decided, you know what, let's just jump the gun. We don't know when COVID will end. We might as well live our lives. So we moved across the world, across the globe in the middle of COVID. But it's been really amazing so far. So
That's great. I think this is the best time to do whatever you always wanted to do.
yes.
Because I just moved from Atlanta to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh,
Best time.
wonderful.
Yeah, this is the best time to do anything that you've been holding off or holding back over the years. This is really the best time to do
This
it.
is it. The world has made space for you to, do what you've always wanted to do what you're meant to do. So good on you.
Exactly. So how did you get started doing what you do? Because I know you help like business professionals.
Yeah.
And so how did that come about?
So I started my online business back in 2018, but it was actually much earlier than that when I started earning income online, through affiliates, through Amazon. I also have ebooks on Amazon under pen names, and that's actually how I first started earning money online. So back in the day, this was in 2014. I was working in a warehouse and I was a newlywed. And you know what they say when you're a newlywed, right? They say, "Oh, enjoy the first year of your marriage because
Yeah.
it's the honeymoon phase, extended honeymoon, whatever they call it." But our life was not like that. And just to give you a little bit more background, I got married early, considering my generation. I'm a millennial, and for a lot of millennials, getting married at the age of 21 is, oh my God, crazy, right? And it was pretty crazy. But what can you do? As your podcast calls it, love can't wait.
Yeah.
And that was the case for me. It was this is how I make decisions, Sharp Game. If I die, 6 months from now, what would I regret not doing? If the world ends 6 months from now, a year from now, what would I regret not doing? And I knew, even though my financial life, my career life was not perfect, when I was 21, I knew I would regret not marrying the love of my life. And so, even though our parents said, advised against it at that time, worried about our future, which, I totally understand. Knowing our backgrounds, we're immigrants. We came from a place where we really had to work hard to, get to another country just for a brighter future. I totally understand why they advised against it. But, love can't wait. So we went ahead and got married. And during that first year, you imagine a life that is fun and you get to enjoy just being husband and wife and not having responsibilities of having kids yet. We have two kids now, by the way. But our first year of marriage was not like that. It was chaotic. We could barely enjoy each other because we were so much in debt. And I was working at a warehouse, picking and packing boxes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a very creative type of person. So doing something almost robotic where you do the same thing every single day, it was driving me
Yeah, I
nuts.
don't like that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, when you're unhappy in the work that you do, it eventually bleeds into your personal life,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like, you can only hold on to that for so long. So in that quest, I remember, my husband and I got into an argument, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what our parents warned us about, that we were going to have hard time financially, and that, getting married young is not a good idea. All the fears that I had about doing this was just showing up in my face. And at that moment, I realized I have two choices. It's either I leave this marriage or I make it work. And I was not just someone that, would just give up on a person, especially a marriage. You're committed to
Yeah.
this marriage, right? And so we made it work, and we spoke about it, found out the root of why we were frustrated, we were angry, we were sad about the life that we were living, and we started talking about our vision, where what we really hoped for when we got married, what our dreams were. We started to rekindle the dreams that we had as individuals, and now combining them as a married couple, and figuring out together, okay, how can we make that happen? Because our marriage doesn't have to be the end of our dreams, right? And so from then on, fast forward, a year later from that conversation, we ended up leaving our warehouse job, and I started just diving deep into how to get out of debt. So we left that job with no debt, eventually got into more debt because I didn't have a job waiting for me when I quit that job. But hey, you're young, we didn't have
Yeah.
kids yet, you're a little bit more bold and
Yeah.
crazy. So we took that leap, and my husband eventually got into insurance. He started earning commission. He was really good at it, excelled so quickly in his career in the insurance industry. And here I was, really trying to understand the root of our finances. And I researched, how in the world do I get out of debt? And, back in the day, blogs were so popular. And I found this Canadian who was talking about how to get out of debt, started following him, and he started talking about online, earning money online. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this a scam? It wasn't very popular back then.
No, it
Um,
wasn't.
no, no. So I remember he was selling this course for $30 on how to publish books on Amazon, because that's how he was earning money online. And I said, okay, $30 back then was like, oh my God, that's like a lot of money for me, especially when you're in debt and you don't have income coming in, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Look, this is how I shifted my perspective. When I go and eat, let's say at a, heck, even a fast food restaurant, I easily spend $30.
Yeah.
So I just considered it money gone. I'm gonna invest in this, and if it's fake, if I get scammed, whatever, lesson learned. So I invested in that course. I think it was like $36 or whatever. Actually followed it to the T, and then I started earning like $2, $5 on Amazon Kindle. And I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is for real. And that was basically the start of my journey into, diving deep into how can I make this an ongoing income earner for me? How can I actually earn money? How can I do what he's doing? Being a coach and just improving yourself and helping others along the way. So that's my story of how I got started in this whole online gig.
Oh man, that's a good story. The thing about marriage is there's no blueprint, there's no like
Mm-mm.
book, there's no like classes. I think a lot of times, at least from my experience, and it sounds like you're learning. You have the same experience as I do. A lot of times you have to make things work. You have to figure it out.
You
Because
learn as you go.
yeah, because things are gonna happen, and you're gonna be like, oh my god.
Hmm.
And a lot of it's going to be very unpredictable, and some of it you can kind of predict what might happen and try to be prepared as much, but a lot of it you're just going to have to figure it out between each other, really. you know
Yeah. But you know what? This is what I love about what you're doing, Sharp Game. I think if I had just learned it based on my history, my knowledge, I wouldn't be able to actually work out my own marriage because both me and my husband, we came from broken families. And
oh
this is not just our
mm,
parents who were broken up and separated and divorced, it was generation. I'm talking about my grandmother and my grandfather and all of the siblings of my mom, they're all separated, all divorced. So it's in our generation to actually see that as a normal thing.
yeah.
And thankfully, me and my husband, because we really wanted it to work, we researched on, you know, relationship advice, how to communicate better. And there are books out there are coaches out there who help you process your emotion and process your thoughts. And I think this is the power of having a podcast like this, because you get to learn from real world, real life experiences of other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's gold. That's the real value, because there's only so much books that that you can learn from books.
Yeah.
But I think sharing stories like this, where you actually hear the situations of other people in real time, in real life, I think that's the best way for us to learn as humans. So kudos to you, for making something like this available for people.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I get emails all the time, and people say stuff like, hey, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would do. You inspired me to travel. You inspired me to just get better as a man. And in the beginning, I didn't really know how to take it, but that it keeps me motivated to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. But and plus, with you and your husband, y'all were supposed to fail because y'all. I mean, you have generations and generations of people that never stayed together. So some people will say, "Oh, y'all." They might have said even in the beginning when y'all got married, you're not gonna make it.
Oh
you
yeah,
know? Yeah,
it was very obvious, quite
yeah. That's where a
frankly.
lot. That's where a lot of that comes from, and I understand it. But at the same time, somebody has to break the chain. You know.
Hmm.
Or the family curse, like some people would say.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard my sister say that.
Yeah, you know. But hey, the reason why I wanted to bring you on because I saw your Instagram and you have a lot of I guess attention grabbing videos. You
Oh,
say little you say
snippets.
yeah, little snippets that really uh grab people's attention. And I think in one video you said something about happiness
Mhm.
and success. And I believe that well, that's not what I believe, it's what I've seen is very difficult to be unhappy and be successful in other areas of your life. What do you think?
Well, I think for us growing up, we've definitely seen a lot of people who are quote unquote successful. And of course, this is the type of news that easily proliferates online, right? Like you see this celebrity who's supposed to be super successful, but then, have terrible marriages, or, what I mean, like really sad personal life. And so a lot of us, sometimes we fear success because this might happen to us. Or it can be the opposite, where people think I need to be successful to feel happy,
Yeah.
right? But what I've learned in my own personal journey is that depression will not get you anywhere closer to success. Like true story, I suffered from depression. Um, like maybe when I was a late teenager, I really struggled with it. And if you ask my group of friends in high school, I was the sad girl because it was a lot about family issues growing up, but
Yeah.
I brought that energy with me, and it was really hard for you to, I, some people could say that I was successful in school because I was a top student and whatnot. But deep down inside, I couldn't even feel that success because I was sad. I chose to be sad. And over time, I remember when I eventually decided, enough with this depression. I literally just made a promise to myself. I said, you know what? I'm never going to associate myself with the word depressed ever again. This was when I actually just came from California. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the American dream, whatever it is. But I remember I visited California, and somehow something in me changed when I came back. I think it's just people, in America. I mean, let's just be frank, people are just a lot, it just seems a lot more easier for people to just be themselves and to just express themselves. And I think when I saw that, from people when I visited California, and went back home to Canada, I said, you know what, enough with this depressed Page. This is not going to be me anymore. And throughout my journey, obviously there's going to be ups and downs in life, but I realized that when you're trying to be quote unquote successful, and your energy is you're depressed, or maybe you're frustrated and you're bringing anger and stress, or as they say, when you're overworking yourself, hustling just to get to the next goal, it's not fun,
No.
right? And maybe you will get to your goal, but I found that even okay, let's talk about, so I often talk about money to my clients and to people in other podcasts, actually. Even let's talk about money. So if you're trying, for example, to pay off your debts, right? Most people will think, okay, I gotta cut off all these unnecessary expenses and like live bare necessities, right? And
Yeah.
if you think about it, you're restraining yourself, and it kind of feels super stressful and sad, that you feel like you can enjoy your life until such time that you pay off your debts.
Yeah.
And I did it that way before, and it didn't work. What happened was,
No.
the moment I paid off my debts, I was like, okay, celebrate. And there you go. I was back in debt, you
Yeah.
know? But when I eventually paid off my debt completely, the second time around, I said, okay, I'm going to do this differently. I actually made it a choice to enjoy the process, right? And this is why I believe that happiness ultimately is what attracts success, right? It's the
Yep.
happy people who become successful. Because if you think about it, in that state in itself, your life doesn't have to be perfect, but you
No.
can choose to be happy now, right? And when you choose to be happy now, guess who you will attract? You'll attract better opportunities, other people who are also happy and eager to speak with you. I mean, who wants to talk to a Debbie Downer, right? It's hard to find someone who wants to talk to you in the long run, who wants to offer opportunities to someone who doesn't seem excited about life, right? So that's why I really believe that happiness is what ultimately attracts success.
Yeah. Mm, some people say money is not everything, but money is the only thing that people measure.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and most of our problems can be solved with money. If,
Exactly.
if
Mm-hmm.
you need more time, if you had more money, you would have more time.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, but a lot of people, I don't know, they kind of a lot of this has to do with how they were raised and their beliefs
Mm-hmm. Oh
and
yeah.
and what happened before them, and you know, So I understand, but in reality, if I give you an example, if I didn't have the money thing handled in order, I wouldn't be here doing this
Mm-hmm.
because I would be mentally doing something else.
Mentally incapacitated, really.
Yeah. So I just don't know. I just don't. I think you can't. I don't believe you have to be rich to be happy,
No, 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 not at all.
but you definitely have to have the money thing handled,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't be like kind of like all over the place financially because you're gonna be so you burnt out and might maybe stressed out. You know.
Yeah, or causing other people stress. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, and the bad part about it is that most people, they aren't born into money. So unless your parents had it, there's a good chance if you want to learn it, you're gonna have to go elsewhere to learn it
Mm-hmm.
because most of the people I went to school with or grew up with, I don't know, maybe two, three rich families, and everyone else is like middle class or working class, and they the rich have a completely different mindset. So it's kind of like it's a very tough situation.
And you know what? Like, this is actually so. I was living in Canada for quite some time, and then going back here in the Philippines. Even though I was born here, but having lived in Canada for a while and then going back here, I can see how different my mindset is from
Yeah,
a lot of the people. And I think about how beautiful this country is. I'm in the Philippines right now. How beautiful it is, and yet even though the people extremely hardworking, like I don't know if you know any Filipinos, but Filipinos
hmm
have this
yeah,
identity that we're hard workers, that we're reliable workers. And it's crazy to think that the country is struggling as a whole when we have this identity of being hard worker, very resourceful, very hospitable type of people. And I realized that it really is a lot of because of the ingrained mindset that we have. So,
yeah,
for example, um, in my culture, in order for you to be successful, they believe, or rather, I used to believe this too, that you need to work hard, like really hard, sweat,
yeah,
blood, bones, right?
yeah,
You need to work hard just to be able to reach a certain level of financial freedom. And I learned that, and this is not something that I learned just by myself. I learned this through hiring coaches, being with other people of different mindsets, that you don't actually have to work hard. Money doesn't have to come to you in a difficult or hard way. Like,
no,
people right now, if they look at me, they probably think, oh, she has it easy, right? They don't know the sacrifices I've done in the past, but also it's also because I learned that you don't actually need to, you know, be miserably working hard to enjoy your life,
no,
right? No, not at all.
no,
And like I said, like you were talking about why people think that you don't need money and whatnot. And like I said, I think majority of us, we believe because we've seen it. People put it in the newspapers, in the radios, in the television, growing up. They have broadcasted so many stories of quote unquote rich people who have miserable personal lives. And we grew up, I think that's one of the common misconceptions about money. We grew up thinking we have to choose either or. Do
yeah,
I have a happy family life and just, you know, try to survive financially? Or do I have a rich financial life but have a miserable personal life, right? Like, were we were groomed to believe that we had to choose either or, but those are just a bunch of lies.
yeah. You don't have to sacrifice uh, aspects of your life. Like some people will say, okay, if I want the money, my personal relationships to suffer. I can't spend as much time with them.
Hmm.
No, you don't have to do that. But those are the things that plus the media doesn't help either. And the celebrities, they have a perception of the celebrities that, hey, if you gotta have the Bentley. You gotta have, if you
Hmm.
don't have if you don't have the
Gotta have the
Bentley,
private jets.
yeah, if you don't have that, hey, you're not living the life. And that's not true. And the
No.
thing, I learned this at an early age, though. I learned this when I was 13, because my mom knew a millionaire, two of them at the time when I was
Mm.
growing up. So I knew the truth. So by the time I got to teenage years, and I went in the military and everything, and once I saw a lot of these celebrities, I said, "Oh, it doesn't really work out like that."
Yeah.
you know. But to somebody that didn't grow up, and maybe they didn't meet a millionaire early like I did, they would be, you know, they would have their own perception of the lie that's
Mhm.
being fed out here.
I was like that. I didn't grow up with any financial mentor, I suppose, as you can, I saw my mom struggle. She was married, but in a sad marriage. Eventually got divorced in her uh, early 50s.
Yeah,
But I saw her work hard as if she was a single mom growing up. And she was like the breadwinner. So my perception of what it means to be successful was my mom, to work hard and be able to pay the bills, but be stressed out and not enjoy yourself. So I'm just thankful that my mom eventually got out of it. And,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, like it's something. So coming from a place like that where I actually don't have any financial mentors or people to look up to financially, I just want to encourage people that you can actually unlearn that. Like
yeah,
it's not overnight. It definitely took me years. Like I said, my whole journey in this whole online business started out because I wanted to pay off my debts, and that was in 2014. And I would say my family, ever since 2014, that's when I started thinking about, okay, financial freedom. Is that even a thing? I've never heard such a thing. That's when I started thinking about financial freedom. But it
yeah,
wasn't until like 2020, I would say, that we really felt and experienced the fruits of everything that we unlearned, every new belief that we developed as a family. And you know you were right, you don't have to sacrifice the wrong things, right? Like you don't, obviously everything in life that matters requires some form of sacrifice.
yeah,
But where we are making mistakes sometimes is we make the wrong sacrifices, relationships, our marriage, maybe our faith, our relationship with God, or whatever it is, right? Like we make the wrong sacrifices, our health even, right?
mm,
I mean, you work hard day and night and not even give yourself rest. Like that's
yeah.
insane. so so yeah.
100%. Yeah, I had I think officer in the Navy told me. He said, "Hey, there's no honor in hard work." He said, "Don't come back telling me about how hard you worked. Like, come back and
Hmm.
tell me that you got it done."
That is powerful. That is
Yeah,
crazy powerful.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
steal that.
yeah, yeah, use it. That's because I never heard
I'm
anybody
gonna
say it
share
like that.
that. Yeah, holy
Yeah,
moly. Because,
yeah,
like I said, here in our culture in the Philippines, people pride on being
yeah,
hardworking.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So if people wanted to follow you and reach out to you and work with you, where would they go?
Well, you can easily find me on Instagram. Just search up Paje Ray, Pajerey. You can also check me out on YouTube. So, those little snippets that Sharp Game here talked about? The full video is on YouTube. So just search up Paje Ray as well. And yeah, I also have a website, but those are the easy ways for you to find me. And then all the other resources, you can find there. Like I said, I do speak a lot about money. And if you're someone listening to this and you want to unlearn that, because a lot of our perception about success and happiness, come on, like let's be truthful here, guys, it has a lot to do with money too, right? And it affects how we see ourselves, our money in the bank, what we earn affects how we see ourselves, affects how we see other people, and in turn it really affects how we build that relationship with other people too, right? And so if you want to learn more about that, I do have videos and content that can help you unlearn the lies that we've been told to about money growing up. It's all on my website, but I also have a program called the Healthy Holy Money Flow that you can check out, so that can really walk you through my own personal journey and the blueprint that I've created, so that you can break that, generational curse, as people would say, and just improve your finances, your relationship with money, and maybe improve your, not maybe, but for sure, once you improve your relationship with money, you also get to know yourself better, improve your relationship with yourself, but also improve your relationships with other people. So, yeah, here you go.
So, so all links will be found in the show notes. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think. Until next time.